You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan, please get it. You can get it at CVS, Walgreens, any pharmacy, URI. It's free. Get it. Keep it in your car. Put it in your purse. Whatever you need to do with it, you need to keep it. It saves lives. My guests today are from Children and Family, and they are Megan and Nelson. Welcome to you both. Thank you for coming on today. So Nelson, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do with Child and Family.
Again, my name is Nelson. I'm the peer recovery specialist for the FCTR team, and what I do is bring lived experience to the team.
All right, so what is FCTR team? What is that?
Family-centered treatment, recovery.
Mm-hmm. So you're in recovery?
Yes, I am. I'm in recovery 7 years.
Congratulations.
Lived experience. Thank you.
Congratulations. And Megan, what do you do?
Well, as Nelson said, we're from Child and Family Services of Rhode Island, and I am one of the practitioners on our family-centered treatment recovery team and also the trainer for the team.
So tell me about the team.
Yeah.
Team. I love teams. I don't like to do things individually. I like to do things with teams.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think in order to talk about the team, we have to talk a little bit about the agency and who we are. So Child and Family was founded in 1866. It's actually our 160th birthday this year.
Wow, happy
as
birthday.
An agency. Thank you. And our team consists of some practitioners, obviously our peer recovery specialist, and then we also have a licensed supervisor, clinical director, and we all work together and interface as a team quite frequently. So when we're bringing treatment to families, they're really getting the expertise of the whole team, not just the couple of people like Nelson and I would function as a team going into the home, but families really get the benefit of the clinical experience of the team as a whole.
You know, 160 years is a long time.
It is.
I bet you if I did a survey, there'd be not a lot of people that knew that Child and Family existed that long.
Maybe not that long, but we have had a presence in Middletown. We have an office in Middletown and also in Providence. And I think more and more as we continue to grow and our evidence-based programs continue to grow, family-centered treatment recovery is a fairly new program within the last couple of years. So definitely making waves. You'll see us pulling up to recovery events now in our blue sweatshirts and letting people know that we have a presence, we're here to help, and we kind of take a different approach to recovery than many other programs out there.
You know, my thing is, especially with the families right now, there's a lot of families that are hurting. And hurting for all the wrong reasons. When I first took over the Leadership Council, it was like a weekly experience for me to go to a funeral home and see young people have to be buried because of an overdose.
Yeah, of course.
It's becoming less of a burden to me going to these places because of Narcan. Narcan is saving lives. The overdose deaths are down, but don't be fooled. Overdoses are up. All my residential treatment centers that I represent are full. As of this morning, they're all full and there's a waiting list. When you go in to talk to a family, what is your approach? Is your approach just going into a home, or do they come to you? How does that work?
Do you want to touch on this a little bit about kind of what makes us different?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll be more than happy to answer it. So what sets us apart is that we bring the substance use and mental health treatment to the family, so that helps them when they're not able to make sessions on time and it clashes with their schedules, work, social time,
So basically, you're like DoorDash.
Yes,
Yeah.
DoorDash
Go
for
right
mental
to the
health
door.
and recovery.
Go right to the door, and you do your thing,
Yeah.
where they don't have to leave their homes.
Correct.
Not at all.
That's a home run all day long.
Amazing.
All day long.
And we also take the approach that recovery is not, or substance use, mental health, they're not individual problems. When you have a family that is impacted by substance use, it's the whole family's problem, and the whole family has different things that they've learned in order to cope, survive, and heal through addiction. And so we we are really learning from the family when we go in, not so much going in and saying, here's what you need to change, here's how to change it. We learn from the family based on what they assess their needs and strengths to be, and we meet them wherever they are. So that can look like, pursuing complete 100% abstinence, attending meetings, or it could look like harm reduction, a combination of, a multifaceted sort of approach to, we want to meet families where they are.
When a family calls and they say, I got a problem with my adolescent, or I have a problem with my 10-year-old, or I have a problem with my 5-year-old. Not that they're on substances at that point, but they could have mental health issues. I see it all the time. And there's not many organizations that can nip that in the bud. So what makes you different than the organization down the street?
Well, I would say when we're, here's what a session might look like. So we get a family that says, we figured out that we have some problems that we want to address, whether it's substance use related or mental health related, behavioral. We have families come to us for a number of reasons. If they're DCYF involved or are at risk of losing their children, that's kind of when we jump in and we're like, what can we do to get ahead of this problem before it snowballs into something greater? And a session might look like us coming into the home, maybe the kids just got off the bus and everybody's kind of winding down, and someone's making dinner, people are sitting at the table, and if the family has identified, okay, communication is really where we struggle, we might take communication strategies that are healthy and make it into a game, where maybe a family has to practice, how would we survive in the middle of the ocean if we only have 15 items for survival? And they're practicing a skill like healthy compromise that's going to ease tension in their communication in the home in a way that's fun and playful, but also allows them in a really real sense to get an idea of, through trial and error, what's going to work for us, what's not going to work for us, and what do we need to do to apply what we've learned through this playful, fun activity in real life. And we kind of help them make those connections. And then Nelson comes in with the lived experience, and you can speak a little bit about your role there.
So another thing that sets us apart also, in my role there, that I mix my lived experience, with the evidence-based programs that we provide. Our program is to empower, not to be punitive. So that sets us apart, because we use the mistakes and the relapses as an opportunity, to empower the person to see where they need change. We don't stop treatment and discontinue, the help just because they had a relapse. But we use that as power to help.
Nelson, that's a very good analogy, and one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about.
Okay.
Someone who has lived experience that can sit down with a family and say, listen, I've been there. Follow my lead. Let me see how I can help you. If it's not what I can offer, then maybe we need to go in another direction. But there's so many things today, and I want to talk more about this when we come back, with the adolescents and the kids in school that I hear daily, where I sit on a organization in the town of Smithfield, where I hear what the kids are doing. And then they come to me and say, we need a metal detector. We need something to find out if these kids are drinking before they go to the prom. Very concerning to me. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back with Child and Family after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Child and Family are in the house. Megan Nelson, and thank you both for joining me today. I like the concept. I love the concept. And I hope a lot of families watch this show and give you guys a call because this is an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have the opioid epidemic, and we got a crisis right now for behavioral health. You see what's happened in Pawtucket a few weeks ago, and it's happening all over the United States.
Yeah.
Not happening just in Rhode Island, it's happening all over the United States. So Megan, you wanted to talk a little bit about mental health with children.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we get involved with a family and they're coming to us for help, we see it across, the span of ages, whether it's kids or adolescents. A lot of parents coming to us saying, I want my kid out of the house. Like, I've tried everything, and it makes sense, right? Because we have a lot of parents who there's no rule book to this. Like, there's no guidebook on how to respond when your kid does X, Y, Z. And so I think a big piece of what we do is we come in and kind of look at, okay, well, what are the reasons behind this behavior? Like, what is going on behind the scenes that maybe your teen or your child isn't being so forthcoming about? And how do we kind of give them a space that feels comfortable and supportive so that all family members can be heard? But we also do want to target problematic behaviors that aren't healthy within a family system. And if we can do that within the home while the kids are still young and parents still have a say, and
It's a home run.
It's a home run because then that's changing the game for the next generation.
Right.
And so we do look at those generational patterns when we're getting to know families. And we also have a really cool program that is connected with our recovery program. It is optional, so you don't have to do this if you're in FCTR. But it's called contingency management. And it's essentially a type of behavioral therapy that rewards people for making positive change. Do you want to talk about a little bit what that looks like?
Before you get
Yeah.
into that, I'll tell you, before I got into this field,
Yeah.
I was a business agent, and one of my facilities was a training school.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go in and talk to those kids all the time about straightening out, being productive citizens, because if not, you're going to go up the street and you'll be there for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, as I say this all the time, there's about 15,000 young people living with their grandparents in Rhode Island. That number is astronomical to me. 15,000. So imagine an 80-year-old trying to bring up a 5-year-old
Yeah.
because either their parents are incarcerated or they died of an overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't have agencies like yours, we'd be in worse shape.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what you said about generations issues, if you don't get it now. And that is like a mouse on a wheel. If you don't attack it at this particular point, that wheel's going to go around and around and around for many years to come.
Yeah.
Many years to come. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nelson, so go ahead.
No, you're fine. Thank you for that. We have an incentive, in reference to monetary. I'm losing
Yeah.
it. I'm so sorry.
No, that's
That's
okay.
all right.
It's a
So
12-week program.
it's a 12-week
Yeah.
program, and a person can earn up to $552 if the negative screens continue to stay negative, But we use this more as an opportunity to empower the families to respond in a healthier way to any positive screens.
Yeah.
So that's how we use the incentive. But the incentive it's a great incentive. It's $552 that they get if they
They follow the program.
if they follow the program
Yeah.
and continue to stay negative
And the
on
way
all the
that
screens.
the way that it would look is that one of us would be coming, or whoever your practitioner is, in partnership with Nelson, to come and conduct urine and breathalyzer screens, which we understand. Some families have been through that with the court system, where it's been a very punitive approach.
Right.
And if you screen this way or that way, you're in trouble. And for a lot of families, like that could be risking removal of children that, a mom might be trying desperately to keep in the home. So we don't release the screen results to court or anything that would be a punitive system.
Right.
We use them for point of care and treatment so that we can say, okay, if there was a slip here, what do we need to do differently? Like, how can we use a family recovery plan that involves the whole family to respond and prevent a return to use, which...
I like the word you just used, the slip.
Yeah, a slip. You can get back on the horse. It's never too late.
There's many, many people that are in recovery now that had a slip.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went back in, there's no more slips. Because if you slip 3, 4, 5, 6 times, that slip is going to become a slide. And then you're going to be in a serious problem trying to get back on the horse again. But the thing is with the kids today, the behaviors that I see, not only in the schools, but you go to any of the Target, Walmart, BJ's, and you see the way some of these kids act, and they talk to their parents like that. When I was a kid, if I ever did that, forget about
We
it.
hear that a lot. Yeah.
Forget about it. You know, and I mean, we can't go back. You can't go back. You got to move forward. And with the programs that you all have, that parents need to be parents instead of being friends. I wrote a big op-ed a few years ago when I got out of the General Assembly about that, because I did the bullying commission that went all around the whole state, and we did some legislation with that. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over and over, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got to try to do something different. You got to get the people in a room, lock the door, nobody leaves until we can get it right.
I think a piece of this too is we were in a training not too long ago where one of the speakers had said the opposite of addiction is not necessarily always abstinence, it's connection. And I think when we, like we said, we approach recovery as a family thing. And recovery doesn't have to, when we're working with kids, adolescents who have mental health, who have behavioral concerns, it's not always that addiction is at the center of this.
Right.
Everybody, every single person has some behavior in their life they want to change. And so we kind of take that approach of, we've as a system, as a society, we've tried the punitive thing. And sometimes it doesn't serve the families to see improvement because it doesn't foster connection.
Right.
And it doesn't foster emotional needs being met. And so we really take a heavy focus on how can we meet emotional and mental health needs in the home so that kids aren't seeking it from peers that may be just as behavioral as them, but if that's where they feel accepted, that's the first place they're going to run.
Right, exactly. We're going to take another quick break, and I want to talk just a little bit more about that when we come back. I want to give the people the website and
Yeah, of course.
telephone numbers and stuff like that. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, Sean Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Child and family is in the house, and got Nelson and we got Meg. So thank you both for joining us, and thank Child and Family for what they do.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great program. I think people need to embrace it. If you have children who have behavioral health issues, substance use issues, or any other issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about all the programs that you have over there, if you can, and give my viewers the website. And if there's a phone number you'd like to give out, you may do that also.
We have programs that service across the entire lifespan. Some are evidence-based, some are evidence-informed, but we have so much that we wouldn't have time to cover it all. Hopefully for 160 more years we'll continue this good work. But you can find us at childandfamilyri.org. And if you'd like to get plugged in and discover any of our programs in detail, you can call 401-660-4772 and you'll reach our clinical director of our evidence-based family therapy.
Great. Well, thank you both for coming on today. Thank Child and Family, the leadership over there. I greatly appreciate you guys coming on. Nelson, you're going to be one of my guests in the future. By yourself.
By myself.
Without that blue
Give him
shirt.
the spotlight.
Without that blue shirt. But, so for the rest of the folks that are watching, please stay tuned. Kodak Integrated Care will be on next. And my guest next week is the infamous Dr. Skip. He wrote a book from Harvard to Hell and Back. Thank you very much for watching Recovery TV. If you see something, say something.